Hello and welcome to Spectrum TV News, a recap of major stories within the week. I am Francis Oima, edit, coming to you live from here, the capital city of Akwa Ibom State. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu addresses Nigerians in New Year message, promises new minimum wage for workers. Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Mourne expresses hope and confidence that 2024 will be a year of restoration. Plus, Pope Francis under increasing pressure from conservatives. We'll bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. Many thanks for joining us. We begin the weekend recap news with a report that President Bola Tinubu has signed a 28.7 trillion naira 2024 budget into law. He has sent it to the 2024 appropriation bill at a brief ceremony at the presidential villa in Abuja. Among those with the president while he signed were the President of the Senate, Senator Godswill Akpabio, and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Atiku Bagudu, the National Security Advisor, NSA, Nuhu Ribadu, were on hand as well. Also on the ground were Femi Gbajabiamila, the National Chairman of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC, Abdullahi Ganduje, Chairman of the Senate Appropriation Committee, Senator Olami Lekon Adeola, among others. Tinubu signed the budget as after he arrived in Abuja from Lagos, where he spent the past week holidaying. Meanwhile, the 2024 budget is 1.2 trillion naira higher than the budget he proposed to a joint session of the National Assembly on November 29, 2023. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has sent his New Year message to Nigerians. He promised that his administration will implement a new minimum wage for Nigerian workers in 2024. Tinubu disclosed this in his New Year broadcast to Nigerians on Monday, January 1st. According to him, the economic challenges Nigerians are facing, occasioned by fuel subsidy removal and exchange rate reforms, will soon be a time of the past. He assured that his government is committed to ensuring the security of all Nigerians.
Hard to ensure that we all have peace of mind in our homes, places of work, and on the roads. In year 2024, we are moving a step further in our quest to restart local refinery of petroleum products with Port Harcourt Refinery and the Dangote Refinery, which shall fully come on stream. To ensure constant food supply, security, and affordability, we will step up our plan to cultivate 500,000 hectares of farmland across the country to grow maize, rice, wheat, millet, and other staple crops. I will fight every obstacle that impedes business competitiveness in Nigeria, and I will not hesitate to remove any clog hindering our path to making Nigeria a destination of choice for local and foreign investments. In my 2024 budget presentation to the National Assembly, I listed my administration's 8 priority areas to include national defense and internal security, job creation, macroeconomic stability, investment environment, optimization, human capital development, poverty reduction, and social security. Because we take our development agenda very seriously, our 2024 budget reflects the premium we placed on achieving our governance objectives. We will work diligently to make sure every Nigerian feels the impact of their government, the economic aspirations, and the material well-being of the poor, the most vulnerable, and the working people shall not be neglected. It is in this spirit that we are going to implement a new national living wage for our industrious workers this new year. It is not only good economics to do this, it's also a morally and politically correct thing to do.
Meanwhile, President Tinubu has also rallied the People's Democratic Party and Labour Party presidential candidates in the 2023 general elections, Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi, respectively, to join him in working together to ensure Nigeria's stability and progress in 2024. Tinubu stated that for Nigeria to yield good benefits in the new year, everyone must play a part individually and collectively, adding that election is over. In a related development, Senate President Godswill Akpabio has described this year as another time to renew hope about a better Nigeria. He congratulated Nigerians for making it to 2024 in a New Year message by a Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Eseme Yibo, in Abuja. Akpabio expressed optimism that with President Bola Tinubu in the driving seat, the country would regain its enviable place in the Community of Nations. The message, Senate Leader Bamidele Opeyemi, House of Representatives Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, assured Nigerians that better days were coming for the country. Away from that, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation has announced plans to employ additional 8 workers to improve humanitarian response time. The ministry said the employment would be on a temporal basis as part of the federal government's commitment to reduce unemployment in the country. Recall that Nigeria tops the list of countries with the highest rate of unemployment. According to the latest statistics released by the World of Statistics, Nigeria led with 33.3%, followed by another African country, South Africa, 32.9%, and Iran, 15.55%. Meanwhile, the federal government has extended the free train ride initiative from Thursday, January 4th to today, Sunday, 7th, to further reduce financial pressure on travelers heading to various destinations after the festive period. The Managing Director of Nigerian Railway Corporation, NRC, Fidat Okira, revealed this to newsmen in Lagos. He said the decision, made in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Transportation, was to ease movement of Nigerians who had traveled during the festive period. Okira called on passengers to continue to book their tickets online to avoid crowds at the various terminals. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has appointed 6 new executive directors in 2 agencies under the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy within the course of the week. According to a statement by presidential spokesman Ajirin Galale, the president appointed 3 new directors each for the Nigerian Ports Authority (NPA) and the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency (NIMASA). Tinubu appointed Vivian Edet as the executive director, Finance and Administration (NPA), Olalekun Batmas as the executive director, Marine and Operations (NPA), as well as Ibrahim Umar as the executive director, Engineering and Technical Services (NPA). For NIMASA, the president also appointed Jabril Alba as the executive director, Maritime Labor and Cabotage Services, Chidi Ofodili as the executive director, Finance and Administration, and Fataya Deyemi as the executive director, Operations. In a separate development, the Minister of Defense, Bello Matawalle, has presented 2 high-tech unmanned water vessels to President Bola Tinubu within the course of the week. This is according to a statement by the Director of Press and Public Relations, Modihensho Ogunlije, in Abuja. The vessels are expected to help in the fight against insecurity on the nation's waterways in particular and the country in general. While presenting the two versions of the equipment, the S2 and S3 Swift Sea Stalkers, to Tinubu, the minister said the high-tech equipment were the latest technologies that would be deployed in combating insecurity in the Niger Delta, Lake Chad region, and other maritime regions of the country. Move to the Green Chambers now, where the number of federal-owned universities in Nigeria may hit 99 in the coming months as a bill to establish 47 new ones has held through the second reading. This is just as about 56 bills have passed for second reading to establish federal medical centers in different parts of the country. Recall that currently there are 52 federal universities in Nigeria, with some states of the Federation hosting more than one. The House is also considering various bills to establish about 32 federal colleges of education, 11 federal colleges of agriculture, and 5 federal polytechnics in addition to the already existing institutions. Meanwhile, the spokesman and chairman, House Committee on Media and Publicity of the House of Representatives, Akin Rotimi, has denied a report that members were given money as palliatives to their various constituencies. This is why he confirmed that members were given palliative by the federal government through the Ministry of Agriculture to distribute in all constituencies across the country. According to a statement signed in Abuja, Rotimi stated that no legislator has nor will be given any money for palliatives, adding that the procurement process is at different stages depending on the constituency. In the meantime, member representing Idata North-South Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, Ikenga Ikekwano, has expressed concerns over the raid of the headquarters of the Dangote Group of companies by operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Recall that the EFCC had on Thursday raided the headquarters of the Dangote Group in connection with ongoing investigation into forex allocations in the country. Reacting to the development, Ogo Chinyere, who is the chairman House Committee on Petroleum Resources Downstream, said the raid was capable of worsening the economic situation in the country and scaring investors. In a statement made available to newsmen, the lawmaker said raiding one of the largest conglomerates in Africa at a time when the nation was grappling to save its fragile economy was a wrong move which would further erode efforts to stabilize the economy. In another development, the Federal Housing Authority (FHA) says it is not responsible for the planned demolition of houses in the Zidu community near Lugbe Phase 11 of Abuja. This is according to a statement from the FIH management, which compelled rumors that the agency is planning to demolish about 1,500 houses in the said community. The statement noted that the Federal Housing Authority acquired a parcel of land from the Federal Capital Territory Administration (FCTA) for housing development and went on to carry out an enumeration exercise and subsequently paid compensation to the farmers. In the course of carrying out pre-development exercises, it was discovered that some squatters have encroached on some portion of the land belonging to the authority. The statement added that FHA would never accommodate any slum development within any of its estates. Meanwhile, the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) has approved the launch of the Nigerian Naira CNGN stablecoin and set to launch on February 27, 2024. The CNGN is powered by the Africa Stablecoin Consortium (ASC), a consortium of Nigerian financial institutions, fintechs, and blockchain experts. Stablecoins are cryptocurrencies uniquely designed to maintain a constant value, as they are often pegged or tied to another currency, commodity, or financial instrument. In a statement on its website, the ASC said the CNGN stablecoin has met the regulation standards and requirements as created by the CBN, the Nigerian Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC), and the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit (NFIU). The ASC said it is committed to enhancing secure and compliant financial interactions, transforming the manner people transact and engage with their money securely and effortlessly. On electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) in Lagos State has published a notice of the Surulere Federal Constituency by-election as required by law. INEC Public Affairs Officer in Lagos State, Adekunle Oriowo, told newsmen a notice was posted at the Commission's headquarters in Saboyaba for public viewing. According to her, INEC had begun the implementation of activities and a timetable for the elections. A spokesperson also added that INEC's preparations were on top gear to ensure strict adherence to relevant laws and guidelines for the poll. In another development, the National Identity Management Commission (NIMC) has said that it will sanction staff without the National Identification Number (NIN). In a memorandum of understanding handed to all employees, NIMC said it has come to management notice that some staff members are yet to be enrolled into the National Identity Database and as such do not have the unique NIN. The Identity Management Body recalled that the INMC Act No. 23 of 2007 clearly states that the INMC has the mandate to establish, own, operate, maintain and manage the National Identity Database in Nigeria, register persons covered by the Act, assign a unique NIN, and issue multi-purpose cards to those who are citizens of Nigeria as well as others legally residing within the country. Consequently, INMC, in a statement signed by the Deputy Director and Head of Human Capital Management Department, Rhoda Jagdin, said a Director General and Chief Executive Officer, Abisoye Kuka Odusote, has further directed that any staff who does not have the NIN will not be considered for training and could face disciplinary action. On security matters, troops fighting against terrorists, kidnappers, and other criminal elements across the country have killed 43 terrorists and arrested 132 others, including oil theft perpetrators, in the first 5 days of 2024. Troops also rescued 39 kidnapped civilians after several encounters, and a total of 87 assault weapons and 666 assault ammunition were recovered. Director of Defense Media Operations Major General Edward Buba, who made this known within the course of the week, added that troops in the Niger Delta discovered and destroyed 25 illegal crude oil refining sites, 24 cooking ovens, 29 boats, 31 storage tanks, 1 tricycle, and 3 pump machines. Furthermore, troops deny the oil theft criminals the estimated sum of 159,652,620 naira. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Police Force (NPF) has ordered the immediate suspension of the operations of the police campaign against cultism and other vices, Pokakov. This was contained in a statement issued by the Force Public Relations Officer Lumiyiwa Adejobi on the Nigerian Police Force X handle. The suspension, according to the statement, is a strategic initiative aimed at conducting a holistic assessment of the unit and repositioning it for increased efficiency and enhanced service delivery. The statement said that the force recognizes the necessity of halting all pending programs and outreaches initiated by the present National Coordinator, CSP Ebere Amarizu, to enhance a thorough review and restructuring of the initiative to speed across the 6 geopolitical zones, each with its respective coordinator. He added that the temporary suspension aims to realign Pokago's strategies, ensuring they effectively tackle contemporary security challenges and holistically serve Nigerian communities better than its present localized and ineffective campaigns. Away from that, no fewer than 33 inmates from various Nigerian correctional centers in Oyo State have been granted clemency. 10 of these inmates were released from custodial centers, while 4 individuals who were on death row have had their sentences commuted to life imprisonment. Also, 15 inmates had their sentences reduced and 4 others were granted conditional release under a clemency order signed by the governor on Thursday, January 4th. Commending the development, the State Comptroller of Corrections, Salami Olubanji, CC, said Governor Makinde's seasonal gestures provide forgiveness and hope to dozens of incarcerated individuals across the state. Meanwhile, Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has urged all aggrieved factions in the state to join hands with him and allow peace to prevail. Fubara made this known at the Ogoni Day celebration at Bori Town in Kana Local Government Council. Represented by his deputy Ngozi Odu, the governor said lack of peace would bring about division in the state, hence the need for unity. This is coming amid the rift between the governor and the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike. In a separate development, the Lagos State House of Assembly within the week passed the 2.2 trillion naira 2024 appropriation bill presented to it by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. According to a statement by the Speaker's Chief Press Secretary, Eromosele Ebomele, the budget was passed at a plenary presided over by the Speaker, Modeshiru Obasa. Elsewhere, the Cross River State government has called on the commander of the 13th Brigade Nigerian Army, Calabar, Major General Everest Okoro, to bring his zest and expertise to bear in combating the increasing menace of kidnappings, cultism, and armed robbery in the state. The Deputy Governor of the state, Peter Ode, gave the charge within the course of the week when Okoro came to notify him of his elevation to the rank of Major General. The Deputy Governor reiterated that the emerging security challenges in parts of the state were worrisome and parallel and needed security agencies to intensify their efforts. Ode reiterated the state government's continued support to the armed forces of Nigeria. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Umoina has expressed hope and confidence that 2024 will be a year of restoration, of increase, and of expansion across the lengths and crannies of the state. In his New Year broadcast message to the people, the governor called on them to continue to pray for his administration, support, and bind the government in their thoughts and actions with love and unity. He urged the people to strive to look out for the downtrodden and vulnerable and gave them a reason to be hopeful, as tomorrow will be better than today. He used the occasion to reassure the people that his government is paying deep attention to developing and improving the quality of life of residents in both the urban and rural areas, as well as the maintenance and expansion of infrastructure in the state, stating that so far he has flagged up and funded the construction of not less than 17 roads across the state, ensuring that the roads are selected across the 3 senatorial districts in the state. While enumerating his achievements in the agricultural, infrastructure, entrepreneurial, educational, aviation and health sector amongst others, the governor again reiterated his commitment to fulfilling his campaign promises to the people.
We have plans to build an international market in Nkara local government area. We believe that this market will boost the economic activities of our state and will reduce production costs for most of our young entrepreneurs who often have to travel out to buy their raw materials. We are committed to ensuring that work commences on this project within the first half of this year. My dear compatriots, what we have achieved in 7 months gives us hope on what lies ahead in the new year. We will continue to demystify the work of governance and bring governance closer to the people. This we have already demonstrated in more ways than one. I have ensured that all the wards in this state have a personal aide, working and reporting directly to my office. I have ensured that all the units have a watcher of the Ibom community was drawn from them, and I have taken time to consult with our stakeholders in most of my initiatives so far. I shall continue to run an all-inclusive government, paying respect to all our past leaders. I therefore call on you to continue to pray for us, support us, and bind our thoughts and actions with love and unity. We should strive to look out for the downtrodden and vulnerable and give them a reason to be hopeful. I have no doubt that our tomorrow will be better than today. We are determined to work to achieve that, and I know we can count on you to get.
And still to come in the news. Eurozone inflation rate rises less than forecast 2.9% year-on-year in December. To stay with us.
Yes, I'm looking for where to get quality home furniture and electronics.
Verily, I say unto you, you don't need to go to Dubai. You don't need to go to Lagos. You don't need to go to Abuja. The solution to your problem is in Uyo Akwa Ibom State, in the blessed Ife-Rico, and they sell all kinds of appliances. The only appliances that Ife-Rico don't sell is shrine appliances.
The brand to bank on is Blessed Ife-Digo Multi Ventures, the deal on all homes and office furnitures and appliances. With Blessed Ife-Digo, you need not travel abroad in search of premium quality products like electronics, electrical appliances, light and lighting fittings, armored cables, armored doors and regular doors, all building and construction materials, generators and solar energy. They also have musical equipment, industrial equipment and lots more. Blessed Ife-Digo Multi Ventures is located at number 203 Oran Road, Uyo by Ring Road 3. You can also reach them on their customer care hotline on 0811 592 3580. You can reach them via WhatsApp on 0813 227 17092. For your best quality and affordable home and office furnitures, choose Blessed Ife-Digo. Blessed Ife-Digo, the hype is real.
In the heart of the Niger Delta, where nature's bounty thrives, there lies an opportunity for growth and prosperity. Introducing Dembarukas Limited, your trusted partner in palm tree cultivation. With our premium palm tree seedlings, you can be a part of a sustainable industry that offers so much more than just oil. Embrace the power of palm oil tree cultivation and unlock a world of possibilities. Join hands with us as we empower local communities and create a greener, more prosperous future. As the great poet once said, the palm tree stands tall, a symbol of strength and abundance. Dembarukas Limited, cultivating success, one palm tree at a time. Embrace the palm tree's gift and let nature nurture your dreams. To order your premium seedlings, call 0802 664 9683.
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people. But there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTimes DTH Channel 421 and on Free to Air. with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
For brilliant broadcast and entertainment, sports on the go, and news around the world, watch Spectrum TV on StarTimes DTH Channel 421 and free-to-air frequency 12733. Visit our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.
Many thanks for staying with us, and now to the rest of our news stories. Moving now to Africa, where South Africa's Justice Ministry said Friday it will reopen an inquiry into the murder of 4 anti-apartheid activists, which became one of the area's most notorious crimes but remains unsolved nearly 4 decades on. A so-called Kraddock 4 were abducted and murdered while returning home to the southern town of Kraddock in June 1985 after a meeting. Reports say the bodies of the 4, Matthew Gunway, Sparrow Nkonto, Fort Kalanta, and Sisilo Mwali, were discovered days later badly burned and with multiple stab wounds. And while the security forces under the apartheid regime were suspected of being behind the killings, but no one has been brought to justice. Still in Africa, Zambia's authorities have shut down schools for 3 more weeks due to cholera outbreak. The Zambia Education Ministry said both primary and secondary students were meant to return next Monday, but will now resume on January 29th. The ministry also directed that during the prolonged closure, all learning institutions should be thoroughly cleaned up, have clean water and sanitation facilities, adequate hand washing points, and disinfectants. Meanwhile, Zambia's Ministry of Health said 3,015 cholera cases and 98 deaths had been recorded since October 2023.
National Disaster Management and Mitigation Council of Ministers.
Osman Sonko's appeal against a libel conviction, potentially ruling him out of next month's presidential election. According to electoral regulations, the conviction disqualifies Sonko in the February 25 presidential race. Recall that in May 2023, the Court of Appeal sentenced Sonko to 6 months in prison for defaming Minister of Tourism Mame Mbaye Nyang. However, Sonko's legal team said the legal setbacks was not final. On a foreign scene, North Korea fired more than 200 artillery shells near 2 South Korean islands within the course of the week. South's Defense Ministry said, with an evacuation order issued for residents on one of them. South Korea's Yeonpyeong Island is situated in the Yellow Sea. It is located approximately 80 kilometers west of Incheon and 12 kilometers south of the coastline of Hwangchang Province, North Korea. Meanwhile, these handout photos taken on January 5, 2024 and provided by the South Korean Defense Ministry showed South Korea's K9 156MB self-propelled howitzer firing during a live fire exercise at a base on Baekneung Island in the disputed waters of the Yellow Sea after North Korea fired an artillery barrage. So on the foreign scene, Pope Francis, the head of the Catholic Church, is facing increasingly strong opposition inside the Vatican. The conservative clan of the Roman Curia, the powerful governing body of the Holy See, accuses him of a laxist vision of Catholic doctrines, particularly regarding the status of homosexual couples and divorced people in the Church. Reports say after more than a decade as pontiff, Pope Francis finds himself facing a major challenge, maintaining the unity of the Catholic Church's 1.3 billion faithful worldwide. This task is made even more complex by hefty criticism of Francis's governance from conservative circles. The Pope is critiqued in particular for an overly laxist doctrinal vision and a Satan authoritarianism in church management. Meanwhile, since the death of his predecessor, Benedict XVI, at the end of 2022, pressure on Francis's pontificate has intensified. Elsewhere, 4 people died after a fire erupted at a hospital in the northern German town of Uelzen, local police said, with the cause of the blaze still unknown. The fire, which occurred on Thursday night, also left a double-digit number of people injured, several of them seriously. Reports say the fire broke out at 10:45 p.m., that's 21:45 GMT, and when emergency services personnel arrived, flames were visible on the 3rd floor, as well as a lot of smoke. Police initially said 1 person had died in the inferno before updating the toll. In the meantime, Wolfgang Schäuble, a leading figure in German politics for decades and an icon of budgetary rigor in the Eurozone, was laid to rest within the course of the week after dying at the age of 81. He was a minister under Chancellor Helmut Kohl and Angela Merkel and played a key role in German reunification in 1990. Schäuble died on December 26 after a long battle with illness. The funeral service was held in a church in his home city of Offenburg in the southwestern state of Baden-Württemberg. Also, French President Emmanuel Macron has praised former finance minister and European Union leader Jacques Delors at a state funeral, saying he had reconciled Europe with its future. The statesman, who died aged 98 on December 27, was Brussels' driving force during the EU's greatest period of integration, the creation of the single market and the euro. Meanwhile, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and European Parliament Speaker Roberta Metsola were among European officials who attended. Also present were national leaders from around Europe, including Belgian Prime Minister Alexandra De Croo and Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte, as well as Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban. Delors was president of the European Commission from 1985 to 1995, stepping down after disappointing his French supporters by declining to stand for office as president of his own land. Still on the foreign scene, within the week, Ukraine said it was so far unable to confirm that Russia had used North Korean missiles to attack it after Washington accused Moscow of using weapons provided by Pyongyang. The White House laid out the claims late Thursday and also said Moscow was seeking missiles from its ally Iran as it burns through stockpiles of key munitions nearly 2 years into its invasion of Ukraine. U.S. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby described the deliveries as a significant and concerning escalation, but Kyiv, hours after the announcement, said Ukraine had yet to independently find evidence to support the claims. In the meantime, SpaceX has gone to court to try to derail the U.S. National Labor Relations Board hearing over complaints by workers who say they were fired for criticizing Chief Executive Elon Musk. SpaceX argued that the structure of the regulatory board is unconstitutional and that the hearing process violates the company's rights to a jury trial, according to a copy of the complaint filed in a federal court in Texas. Meanwhile, the filing did not refute the notion that former workers whose complaints are at issue in the case were fired for asking colleagues to sign a letter critical of Musk's social media behavior. In the meantime, Google has begun limiting third-party cookies for some users of its Chrome web browser, a first step towards eventually abandoning the files that have raised privacy concerns. Google, which announced in 2020 that it planned to get rid of cookies, said fully eliminating third-party cookies could only happen with the approval of Britain's Competition and Markets Authority, which is looking at the impact on other business. Cookies, small files which are used to target advertising by tracking web navigation, have recently been subject to greater regulation, including the European Union's General Data Protection Regulation introduced in 2016, as well as regulations in California. Third-party cookies are those placed by visited sites and not by the browser itself. Still on the forums, in the UN's World Economic Situation and Prospect WESP report for 2024 projects slowdown in global growth from an estimated 2.7% in 2023 to 2.4% in 2024. The flagship forecast launched in New York indicates that 2023 is stronger than expected GDP growth coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic marks short-term risks and structural vulnerabilities in the world economy. Reports say that the somber short-term outlook is based on persistently high interest rates, further escalation of conflicts, sluggish international trade, and increasing climate disasters, which all pose significant challenges to global growth. According to the report, global inflation is projected to decline further from an estimated 5.7% in 2023 to 3.9% in 2024. He noted that price pressures are still elevated in many countries, and any further escalation of geopolitical conflict will add to that.
I'd like to focus my remarks around three sets of findings from the report: economic performance and prospects, headwinds, and divergences. So first on the performance and prospects. So our report finds that global growth for 2023 will turn out to be at around 2.7%, which is up from 2.3% that we were expecting in May 2023. But our forecast for 2024 is lower, down to 2.4%. In a nutshell, the world is struggling to get back to the 3.0% annual average from 2000 to 2019, representing years of subpar growth. Also, the better-than-expected performance for 2023 is chiefly driven by several large economies, notably the United States, but also Brazil, India, and Mexico. Overall, developing economies' growth remains pretty static at about 4% over 2022 to 25, a little higher for LDCs, but still well below the SDG target of at least 7%.
In the meantime, Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant has outlined proposals for the future governance of Gaza once the war between Israel and Hamas is over. Gallant said there would be limited Palestinian rule in the territory, noting that Hamas would no longer control Gaza and Israel will retain overall security control. Meanwhile, the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken is due to be back in the region this week. He is expected to hold talks with Palestinian officials in the occupied West Bank and Israeli leaders. In a related development, the UN's International Organization for Migration has said that more than 76,000 people have been displaced in Lebanon in almost 3 months of near-daily fighting along the border with Israel. The border area has seen a surge of violence since the Israel-Hamas war broke out in early October, with tit-for-tat exchanges of fire continuing between Israeli forces and Iran-backed Hezbollah, a Lebanese ally of Palestinian militant group Hamas. In a report published on Thursday, the International Organization for Migration, IOM, said that the escalation has displaced 76,018 people, mainly in areas of southern Lebanon, bordering Israel. Meanwhile, Lebanon filed a complaint to the UN Security Council over the targeted killing of Hamas deputy chief Salah al-Aruri in Beirut, calling it a most dangerous phase of Israelis' incursions into the country. Israel, for its part, has neither confirmed nor denied that it was behind his death. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken heads to Middle East for the fourth time since the Israel-Hamas war began on October 7, amid mounting fears the Gaza conflict will become a regional war. Elsewhere, the U.S.-based Human Rights Network, HRANA, said a shop owner in Iran has been sentenced to 2 years in prison after publishing photos without a headscarf. According to the network, Zainab Kenyab was earlier sentenced to 3 months in prison in December in another case for propaganda against the state. The woman from southwestern Iran had attracted attention as part of the nationwide protest when the authorities had her shop shut down in September 2022. The death of a young Kurdish woman, Gina Masha Amini, triggered the largest protest in the history of the Islamic Republic. To business now, where the inflation rate in the euro area rose to 2.9% year-on-year in December 2023, climbing from an over 2-year low of 2.4% seen in November, a preliminary estimate showed. Inflation measures how much more expensive a set of goods and services has become over a certain period. It was the first uptick in inflation since April and was primarily propelled by energy-related base effect. Energy prices saw a decline of 6.7% against 11.5% in November, while services inflation remained steady at 4%. Moreover, the pace of price rises moderated for both food, alcohol and tobacco, and non-energy industrial goods. The core rate, excluding volatile food and energy prices, also cooled to 3.4%, aligning with expectations and marking its lowest point since March 2022. On a monthly basis, consumer prices increased by 0.2% in December, following a 0.6% drop in November. Meanwhile, rice production in Nigeria and other West African countries will increase in 2024. The West Africa Regional Supply and Market Outlook, coordinated by the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, stated this in its latest data. And while the outlook revealed that production of grains, maize, sorghum, and millet in Nigeria and other West African countries is anticipated to decrease considerably due to agro-climatic challenges, insecurity, and rising production costs. Accordingly, the report showed that the aggregate regional cereal production for 2023-2024 is forecasted to be about 76.5 million metric tons, down by 1% from the previous year and up to 3% compared to the 5-year average. The development comes as AFEC's report predicted rice to increase by 32% in 2024. The National Bureau of Statistics data showed that a 50-kilogram bag of rice jumped to an average price of 55,000 naira in 2023 from 12,000 naira 10 years ago. Still to come in the news, Eagles to play friendly game with Guinea on Monday. To stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us, and now to the concluding part of the news stories. In health, the federal government has inaugurated the National Health Research Committee, NHRC, to boost translational research on health-related issues. The Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Tunji Alausa, inaugurated the 13-man committee at a program held at the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research in Lagos. Speaking during the inauguration, Alausa said that the current administration's vision for health research in Nigeria was anchored in the pursuit of excellence, innovation, and inclusivity. Alausa said the NHRC would serve as a vanguard of health research that would facilitate collaboration across various health disciplines and institutions in the country. The move to sports, where former Super Eagles assistant coach Manjola Monike says the three-time African champions are under pressure to win the Africa Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast. The gaffer said Victor Osimhen, the CAF Player of the Year, should not be placed under undue pressure to fire the squad to glory, adding that the Eagles squad is more important than any individual. Reports say Osimhen, who finished as the top scorer during the AFCON qualifying series with 10 goals, is poised to lead the Eagles' star-studded attack at the tournament as the three-time African champions begin their quest for a fourth title in Ivory Coast. In a related development, as part of their preparations for the 33rd Africa Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast, Nigeria will play a friendly match against Guinea in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, on Monday. Recall that Nigeria's camp opened in the United Arab Emirates on Tuesday, and Guinea are among the 6 countries camping in the Middle East ahead of the tournament. Reports say the friendly will be the only warm-up game for the Eagles, who were initially billed to play Burkina Faso and Cape Verde before both games were called off. The 2023 AFCON is scheduled to hold from January 13th to February 11th in Ivory Coast. Meanwhile, veteran Ghanaian forward Andre Ayel is hoping to create one record and equal another during the 2024 Africa Cup of Nations in the Ivory Coast from Saturday. The 34-year-old, who recently joined French top-flight outfit Le Havre, has his sights set on becoming the first player to score in 7 editions of the Marquee African football event. He shared the record of scoring in 6 with compatriot Asamoah Gyan, Zambian Kalusha Bwaya, and Cameroonian Samuel Eto'o. The all-time leading Cup of Nations scorer with 18 goals is also hopes to become only the 3rd star to play in 8 editions of a competition that began as a 3-team tournament in 1957 but is now a 24-nation spectacle. Move to entertainment, where President Bola Tinubu within the week expressed excitement over the latest box office record achieved by Funke Akindele's movie in the entertainment industry. Tinubu, who spoke through his media aide during a Lale, said the ingenuity, creativity, and immense artistic talent of Nigerians' thriving entertainment industry is unrivaled. He also lauded Akindele for her contributions to the growth of the industry. Extolling the excellence of the Nigerian creative industry, the president acknowledged its pivotal place as a medium not only for artistic expression, but also as a source of enormous soft power and viable export. In a related development, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar has congratulated the Queen of Box Office actress Funke Akindele for shattering box office records with her movie A Tribe Called Judah. Recall that the movie has set a new record by hitting 1 billion sales. Posting on X, Atiku said the movie not only broke the record but also stands as a beacon of cultural pride and unyielding of Nollywood. Meanwhile, Derek Draper, former political advisor and husband of TV presenter Kate Garraway, has died after several years of serious health complications due to coronavirus. The 56-year-old was reported as one of the United Kingdom's longest-suffering COVID patients, spending 13 months in hospital after contracting the virus in March 2020. According to reports, Draper was left with extensive damage to his organs and needed daily care. Garraway posted a statement on Instagram saying her darling husband had died and she had been by his side holding his hand throughout his last long hours. We wrap up our recap news with a report that veteran Yoruba actor Adedeji Aderemi, also known as Olufana, has reportedly passed away at the age of 73. The deceased, who is from Ede in Osun State, featured in various epic Yoruba movies such as Obori Elemoso, Ayamo, Bashuru, Ga, and Afonja, among others. The deceased close associates Musliu Dado Funjo confirmed the death of the actor to journalists. Reports say late Aderemi was formerly the Solalaju of Ede and was upgraded to Majoboje of Ede. And that's all we have for you at this time. Do ensure to follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website, spectrumtvlive.ng. You've been watching Spectrum TV News, a recap of major news stories within the week. I am Francis Oyima Edit. Many thanks, and do enjoy the rest of your day.